What's up, brother? Today we're gonna do a 2-for-1 type video. I'm gonna do my experience as a 24-year-old going through COB, continuous open bid, back in 2023 for Greek life. And then also I'm gonna share a military story. So we're gonna do this while we do craft time, and the baby's on the floor with all of her various toys. So, if you hear her in the background, you know what's going on. So, 2023, I decided I was gonna go, I had just finished my associates at Hillsborough Community College, and I needed to go somewhere for my bachelor's. And originally I was going to go back to the University of Tampa because in 2017, that's where I enrolled as a freshman. I lived on campus for a semester, and then I went to school for another semester, and then I ended up joining the military fall of 2018. My intention was always to go back to University of Tampa, but after 2 deployments and moving and this, that, and the other, I came back, applied, and I did go back to UT. Like, I went through the full application process again, got in touch with their VA, set up all my accounts, full intention of going back there. And honestly, their VA rep was so bad at her job. I literally left her office one day, made my brother give me a tour of Florida Southern because he was going there at the time, applied to Florida Southern that day, was enrolled by the end of the week. Mind you, Florida Southern is where my mother graduated back in the 90s with her citrus business degree, and that is where my brother also graduated a few years ago with a degree in business administration. And my husband, as of like a week ago, just finished his bachelor's and well, my brother also has a master's through Florida Southern, but Keenan also finished his master's and bachelor's of accounting at Florida Southern. So we're a big Florida Southern family. But yeah, so I enrolled, and I was like, should I do Greek life? I don't know. I was really into watching Laura Norris's videos, and I'm like, well, she did it as an older student. Mind you, when I say older, she was like 20 instead of 18. I was 24 at this time. Almost 25. So a little different, but it worked out. So Florida Southern does their continuous open bidding in the fall instead of rush. I'm not even sure if we call it rush anymore. I don't know. Okay, I'm older, I'm graduated. But that's what I did. And I pretty much knew off the bat that I really gravitated towards Alpha Delta Pi, 80 Pi. The girls were just my vibe. They also had Zeta, and my big from Delta Sigma Pi, which is the business fraternity at Florida Southern, which I'm also a brother in. My big, she was in Zeta, and phenomenal person, loved her to death. So Zeta was also when I was looking at the time, but at the end of the day, I felt like I just meshed better with the 80 Pi girls. My brother was in Sigma Chi, so he was familiar kind of with Greek life and how everything went. So I went to all their events. I don't know what they're called, but it's basically like little dates you go on with the girls, and they interview you without interviewing you. Just trying to figure out like what some things you have in common with them, what morals do you have, goals, what are you looking for in a sisterhood, that sort of thing, because different houses have different things that they emphasize on. So I went on a coffee date thing with my big, Gretchen. She was not my big at the time. I had not even gotten a bid yet for the sorority. I went with her to get coffee or something like that, and we just like, it was just like instant connection. I'm like, this is my place. And at that point, I kind of had it made up in my mind, like, it's 80 pie or bust. Like, I just, you know, if it works out, awesome. If not, I'm older, it's okay, no worries. But I got a bid. Obviously, if you watched my other video, you saw me running in, getting my bid. And, oh goodness. What? Hey girl, are you gonna be an 85 one day? Oh. She's so cute. Ooh. I'll be right back. Let me help this girl out. Sorry about that. Someone had a blowout. Maybe it was me. We'll never know. You'll never know. Where did I leave off? So my last video that I posted was of me getting my bid. And obviously bid day looks a little bit different when you do COB. Well, maybe not at bigger schools. I don't know how they do it, but Florida Southern is not that large, I would say. So we just did it in the Greek suites. We don't have houses, we just have dorms. And I don't know, I thought it was a really cool and special experience. And then you go through like your training, and there's like written tests and verbal tests and all kinds of stuff that you have to do to be ready to get initiated. Then you go through your initiation ceremony, which I will not talk about because I think keeping things sacred to each chapter or each house is what makes it fun and cool, and what's been done for almost 200 years. But yeah, then you're initiated and you're in. Before you're initiated, you're still like going to stuff. You're just not allowed to participate or hear any of the like sacred ceremonious stuff. But yeah, it was super cool. I made some really good friends who will forever be my friends. If you watch my Big Little video, which should be posting either tonight or tomorrow. I don't know. It may already be posted by now. Either way, you can see that process and how my big decided to do our reveal. Shout out to you, Gretchen. Hopefully you're watching this. And my twin, Hannah, that was super cool too, having a twin. I remember Gretchen told me, she was like, yeah, when we first started, you know, connecting with you, I looked at Hannah one day and I was like, you know we have to adopt her into the family, right? And Hannah was like, yeah. So I loved that. Fun fact about Gretchen and I, we actually, I don't know how we didn't know each other prior to this, because we were both big FFA girls. Like Future Farmers of America. That's what we did in high school. And we both have our own stories about running for state office or not running, or it's a whole thing. If you know, you know. If you don't know, I'm not getting into all that today. But we didn't know how we didn't already know each other through that, because we have these same friends, like mutual friends through FFA. So it was kind of like a we trauma bonded over this stuff we went through with FFA. And it was kind of a full circle moment. It was definitely like, wow, I need to be a part of her little family, you know? And then I was, and then she was in my wedding. Well, my elopement, which I have pictures of at the very end of my big little reveal video. We actually did the hand sign for 80 Pi in some of my wedding pictures, and I left that as my last picture on that video because I don't know, it's special and symbolic of like sisterhood lasts forever and shows up in all sorts of places, and you never know where it's going to take you in life, from college to weddings to births of your children to whatever else is in the future that we may be a part of for each other. Well, I guess that kind of leads me into the next part of my video, the Army story, because today I'm going to tell a Florida National Guard hurricane duty story. So while I was going through all of the sorority stuff, it was the fall semester of 2023. Well, what's going on in the fall semester in Florida? You guessed it, hurricane season. And that year, we had one hit. So in the middle of all of this, I kind of took a pause to go army it up. I was still in E5 at the time. It was my first hurricane duty, so state activation duty. And really, that's what sets the National Guard apart from the reserves and active duty. We take care of domestic things, state emergencies. That's what we're there for. And which I love. I love taking care of our communities. I always tell people, they're like, why'd you join the National Guard instead of active duty? Well, first of all, my dad and my grandfather were both in the Army National Guard in the same brigade as I was. Both retired from that. And so not only is it like a family tradition, but also my community gave a lot to me growing up. I felt like I've always had a really good community. Maybe not so now that I'm older. Things have definitely changed, but growing, my teenage years, had a lot of support in our community. And I always thought that it was really cool that the National Guard has a direct give back to that. So if a hurricane hits where I lived in Plant City, Florida, and demolish it, the National Guard is going to come out and, you know, help those people, hand out food, hand out water, pull people from rubble, do rescue, like all kinds of stuff. And you get to work alongside local law enforcement agencies, state law enforcement, all kinds of different agencies. So it's an inter-agency operation most of the time. And this goes for all states. Like Florida, we're big on hurricanes, but, you know, in California, they have the fires that happen all the time. And National Guard, especially the pilots out there, like dropping water and stuff, they have that. Or out in the Midwest, tornadoes, earthquakes, riots, like you name it, landslides, blizzards. You name it, the National Guard is out there doing it. I know in one state they were so low on bus drivers that they actually had National Guard soldiers driving kids to school on school buses. So yeah, we're there for the community, and that is my pride point behind the National Guard. So this year we had a hurricane hit, or in 2023 we had a hurricane hit. I don't remember which hurricane it was. I just know it was down in like is it Fort Myers? No. It's on the Gulf Coast. Down by like Inglewood Beach. So we were gone for like a month. Or we were gone for a while. Maybe it wasn't a month. I don't know how long it was. It felt like a month. down there helping those people, and yeah, so let me think. One of the stories from that, crazy, only I could, actually no, anyone in uniform experiences crazy crap all the time. So I was at a pod site. I don't remember what pod stands for, but we hand out, point of distribution site. So we're handing out MREs, tarps, water, all sorts of things to people who needed it, who had lost everything. And golly, it was hot. If you've ever been to Florida at all, you know how hot it gets. So we're out there, we're in the sun, we're all sunburnt, just trying to keep morale up, but, you know. It's towards the end of this mission, and what's wrong, girl? What's wrong? What? There was this old man who kept coming through our line, and at a certain point you have to cut him off because it's like, dude, you're like resource hoarding, and you don't know if they're going out and reselling that stuff to other people who may not have a way to get to the pod. Come here. So, you know, we try to cut him off, and he's mad, he's angry, and he comes around one more time, and I'm like, he stops his car, points at me, and rolls the window down. And before he could say anything, at this point I was flustered, I was losing my cool. I had just gone on break. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I sat down like that. I'm like, oh. I put my water down. I get up and I storm off. I'm like, I'm not dealing with this crazy guy again. He's pointing at me, yelling to everyone, I'm not leaving this site until I get her name and information. I want to put her in my will. I want to give her everything. And you may be listening to this going, you should have done it. No, that is not. He was a creepy old man doing his thing, okay? I've dealt with enough men in general and creepy old men to know it was not a nice, good deed that he was trying to do. And also, don't give my name and information out. He might turn into a stalker. That really does happen. Well, my other NCOs were taking care of me, and we're obviously, you spend enough time in the National Guard, you get very close with everyone. You're a tight-knit unit. One of my NCOs was like, what do you call it? He accused him of stolen valor. He was like, stolen valor, because he kept talking about, I'm a veteran. Whatever. It was a little scuffle, you know? He leaves, and he's like, I'm coming back with the cops, because you accused me of stolen valor. I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude. I'm sitting in the van with a chaplain. Chaplain's like, you gotta get out of my car. That guy. Whatever, bro. So much for being a great chaplain. Can you not just sit here with me and let me, like, hide from this crazy old man? I was told by my first sergeant to come sit in this van. Anyways, that's another story. So the guy leaves. We think nothing of it. An hour later, he comes back with the cops. And was like, there he is, officer. Pointing at my NCO who accused him of stolen valor. He's like, he accused me of stolen valor. And this guy brought his printed DD-214 to be like, you see right here, I got this. We're like, bro, we don't care what you did. It doesn't excuse you being creepy to me, you know, one of their soldiers. And it turned into this whole thing. They had to do an investigation. We had to do witness statements. Blah, blah, blah. So that was a wild ride. And there was plenty of other crazy stories on that mission specifically. Like, I was directing traffic with one of my soldiers, and we were in teams of 2. It was a very, very busy intersection. I'm talking long days, because you gotta direct traffic. All the lights are out. And, you know, it's mass chaos and pandemonium out there. And this old woman, on my break, she pulls up to my Humvee, and we're parked in, like, the grass in the middle, like, the median. She's like, my husband, he's out of oxygen. And I was like, what? So I had to sit there, call 911 with her because his oxygen tank had run out and they couldn't find anywhere with it. It's actually pretty scary. I ended up calling my commander and first sergeant. They came out because I was like, you know, it's not like I can give this guy CPR if he's out of oxygen. He's out of oxygen. I'm not a medical professional, you know. I'm like, can you call the medics in at least? So they came out there, and that was crazy too. But, girl, what are you doing? Just over here being crazy. Anyways, we finally get done with hurricane duty, and I come back, and I go back to my college classes the next day like nothing had happened. My economics professor, Dr. Bias, old dude. He liked me though. He was cool. I actually learned a lot in that class, even though he had an interesting way of teaching. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You play your toys? He made me share with the class what was going on. Well, then like 2 weeks later, we had another hurricane, and I did everything I could to get out of it because not that I didn't want to go on mission. I do. You know, you're a soldier, you're chomping at the bit. You want to go on mission. You want to be with your guys. But I was like, I'm using my post 9/11 GI Bill, so I'm going to school in person. And if I'm not there, I'm going to fail, and then I'm going to lose all that time on my GI Bill and possibly owe the government money. I don't want to do that. I'm trying to get this degree, so they didn't make me go on the next one. I had to report for like 24 or 48 hours, I don't remember, but in the middle of all of this, I had... Well then, I had college classes going on, sorority stuff. Hi. Delta Sigma Pi business fraternity stuff, because I was also going through their initiation process and it's this whole thing. But yeah, that was my... That was my experience with continuous open bidding, and that was my Army story for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed. Say bye! Guys, I'm currently in bed. I'm feeding the baby right now. I was just watching that video back. Hopefully you can hear this. I realized that I combined 2 years of my life together. So hurricane duty was in 2022. The college stuff was in 23. However, in 23, we did have 2 hurricanes. We got activated twice, so that's what that was about. I combined the 2 stories. I just wanted to clarify that, so if anyone's watching this, they're like, those timelines don't add up. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the story, and more to come. So, I'm gonna include a bunch of videos and pictures I got from hurricane duty that year. So, if you're with me, watch it. Maybe you're on there. St. Clair, if you ever watch this, there's a video of you on here. So, you guys enjoy. That's my life.
No, she'd rather be here right now doing cars than being back in DC.
Fuck no.